in a land crushed by oppression, where the terrifying roar of 900 iron chariots struck fear into every heart. The fate of an entire nation rested not on mighty armies, but on a single voice, spoken beneath a humble palm tree. When darkness held the land, hope seemed lost. But God raised up Deborah, a mother of Israel who wielded no sword, yet whose faith moved armies. She walked unshaken into battle, knowing the fight was not hers, but God's. This is the extraordinary story of courage against all odds, of unshakable faith, and the unstoppable power of God working through the most unexpected vessel. The land of Israel was in trouble again. After the death of their last judge, the people drifted away from God. Prosperity had led to complacency, and complacency led to idolatry. They turned from the God who had brought them out of Egypt and began to worship the Canaanite gods, Baal and Asherah, thinking these idols promised rain and fertility. But these false gods only drew their hearts away from the Lord. As a wake-up call, God allowed Israel to be oppressed. He gave them into the hands of Jabin, a powerful Canaanite king who reigned from the fortress city of Hazor. Jabin's military commander was Sisera, a ruthless general with a terrifying advantage, 900 iron chariots. In those days, iron chariots were like tanks, fast, unstoppable, and deadly. The Canaanites used them to terrorize the Israelites, attacking farmers, burning villages, and demanding heavy tribute. For 20 long years, Israel suffered under this cruelty, feeling the weight of their disobedience. But a remnant still prayed, and their cries rose to heaven. In the hill country of Ephraim, there lived a remarkable woman named Deborah. She was not only a prophetess, one who spoke the words of God, but also a judge of Israel. Unlike kings, judges were raised up by God to lead and guide the nation. People came from all over to have their disputes settled under the palm of Deborah. Her judgments were fair, her words carried authority, and the people trusted her. In a world where men were the leaders, Deborah stood out like a beacon. Her strength came not from physical might, but from her unshakable trust in God and her ability to hear His voice clearly. One day, the word of the Lord came to Deborah with a plan. She sent for Barak, a man from the northern tribe of Naphtali. When he arrived, she spoke with divine authority. "The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you, go, take 10,000 men from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun to Mount Tabor. I will lure Sisera, with his chariots and his troops, to the Kishon River and give him into your hands." Barak knew the danger. Facing 900 iron chariots on open ground was almost suicidal. But Deborah's words were clear. This was God's battle plan. Barak hesitated. "If you go with me, I will go," he said. "But if you don't go with me, I won't go." He recognized that Deborah's presence meant God's presence. Deborah agreed, but with a prophetic warning, "Certainly I will go with you. But because of this, the honor will not be yours. For the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman." It was a strange prophecy. In that warrior culture, defeating the enemy commander was the highest honor. To be told this glory would go to a woman was unexpected. Yet Barak trusted God's plan through her. Messengers were sent, and from the hills and valleys, farmers laid down their plows and shepherds left their flocks. They gathered whatever weapons they could find and marched toward Mount Tabor, a steep, rounded mountain overlooking the Israel Valley. It was a strategic choice, a perfect vantage point. It was here that Barak gathered 10,000 men, with Deborah at his side. When word reached Sisera, he was confident. He summoned all his forces, his 900 iron chariots and countless soldiers, and marched toward the Kishon River, ready to dominate the Israelites. From Mount Tabor, Deborah, Barak, and their warriors watched the dust rise from Sisera's advancing army. The valley below trembled with the rumble of chariot wheels. Then Deborah gave the signal, "Go. This is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you?" Barak led his 10,000 men charging down the mountain into the valley. Normally, this would have been a disaster. Chariots could easily cut down infantry on open ground. But God had a surprise. The heavens opened, storm clouds gathered, and rain began to pour. The firm ground turned to thick, sucking mud. The Kishon River surged violently, washing over the plain. Sisera's iron chariots, the pride of his army, became useless. Wheels sank deep into the mire, horses struggled, and what had been a fearsome force became a trapped, chaotic mess. The Israelite warriors pressed forward with courage and faith, and the once mighty Canaanite army broke and fled in panic. The Lord Himself fought for Israel that day. But the story wasn't over. Amid the chaos, Sisera abandoned his chariot and fled on foot. He sought refuge in the tent of Jael, the wife of a Canaanite man who had an alliance with King Jabin. Sisera thought he would be safe there. Jael came out to meet him, calm and welcoming. "Come in, my lord," she said. "Don't be afraid." She covered him with a blanket and gave him milk to drink. Exhausted, Sisera fell into a deep sleep, asking her to stand guard. But when he was asleep, Jael moved with quiet purpose. She took a tent peg and a hammer, tools she used every day to pitch her tent, but deadly in her hands. She crept toward Sisera and with one swift, decisive blow, drove the peg through his temple into the ground. Moments later, Barak arrived in pursuit. Jael stepped out to meet him. "Come," she said, "I will show you the man you're looking for." Barak entered and saw Sisera dead. In that moment, Deborah's prophecy was fulfilled. The glory had gone to a woman. That day, God subdued the Canaanite king, and Israel grew stronger until they destroyed him completely. To celebrate, Deborah and Barak sang a song of victory, and for the next 40 years, the land had peace. Deborah's story is more than an ancient battle account. It pulses with truths that still speak to us today. In an age when men held all public authority, God chose a woman to be a judge, prophetess, and military leader, showing that his call is never bound by human expectations. Her courage flowed from her faith, and her faith produced action. The victory they saw was not the result of superior weapons, but of the Lord's intervention. And in the end, a tent-dwelling woman named Jael boldly stepped into history, fulfilling prophecy. Deborah's leadership reminds us that God often works through those the world overlooks. In the same way, he works through ordinary believers today in our workplaces, schools, and homes to accomplish his purposes. In every generation, God calls his people to trust him when the odds seem overwhelming. Our Sisera may not ride in iron chariots, but our challenges can feel just as large. Cultural pressures, fears that keep us silent, and spiritual battles that seem unwinnable. Like Deborah, we are called to stand firm in truth, speak courage into those around us, and move forward when God says, "Go." The real question is this: will you trust him enough to step onto your battlefield? Your faith, like Deborah's, Barak's, and Jael's, may be the very instrument God uses to bring deliverance, hope, and change in your life and the lives of those around you. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of faith and courage. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that with God, all things are possible. Thank you for watching.